You know what I think? Video game franchises ripe for re-exploitation at the hands of Vladimir Lenin and the Ninth Problem Glasses Brigade. I know the first name that leaps to my mind is Mortal fucking Kombat, the series that birthed Baraka, a knife-armed archdemon with a fatality where he carves abroad from cranium to cunt, where the women dress like the Kiss Army put out a swimsuit calendar, and the thoroughly white developers literally made up vaguely Chinese-sounding bullshit instead of giving the goddamn characters actual names. Yeah, there's a bottomless font of fellow travelerdom, yet here we sit and here they shit. All over a beloved fighting game franchise, not to mention one already straining beneath dogshit design missteps like one-button fatalities, two-button X-ray attacks, and cutting half the cast out of the last game and replacing them with Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, and a fucking xenomorph, which I frankly fucking take at this point. An endless stream of posing and proselytizing later, the only Leatherface Ed Gein doppelganger in existence answers to the name of Ronda Rousey, or at least it does if her hollow recitation of the Sonya Blade script calls for it.
You're hiding things from us.
Nothing that concerns you.
Your blood has fight in it, Sonya.
So do my feet and fists.
Not enough to save me.
Hey, nice reading, Rhonda. Does it come in spruce? Folks, what the fuck was that? That shit makes Sasha Grey and Saints Row III sound like Meryl Streep's scissoring Sally Field.
Can't believe they tried to force us out.
I can't believe you forgot the mimosas.
I think we have bigger problems.
I don't think you realize how much I love mimosas.
I'm not pleased about the mental image either, but this goes beyond Yonda Drowsy's Lunesta line ratings. The bullshit here is baked into the crust, I'm afraid. From Scarlet and a hijab to Johnny Cage's circle hand gesture being replaced with a middle finger, which bafflingly is somehow less offensive to the PC police in 2019, and I quote, "'cause Nazis." Yes, folks, a fucking 4chan prank is now dictating boomer game design policy to Ed Boon's stated intent that he, quote, "went too far with the female outfits in Mortal Kombat 9, which I'd add were basically identical to Mortal Kombat Cunting 3. Black-pilled skepticons can cry at the merest utterance of this phrase, but fuck you, man-bun bedwetters. I'm gonna say SJW because it's applicable, and that's what words are for, fucknut. Capital S, capital J, massive, motherfucking W! And that's without the misguided monetary aspects. Look, I've said it before, but WB is the heir to EA's self-vacated crown of king shit of Coprolite Canyon. Anti-consumer DLC policies? Check. Anti-developer exclusivity arrangements? Check. Trickle-down dipshittery and omnipresent micromanagement? Well, you tell me. In lieu of loot boxes, NetherRealms have eschewed the dreaded L word by instead charging for individual items while allowing players to grind like a goddamn bandsaw to unlock them without legal tender. Centered as it is around the ever-increasing difficulty of so-called tower challenges, many of which in later levels begin to rely on the player unlocking said upgrades, if you can't recognize the cock and bullshit from 50 blocks away, my condolences on your diabetic myopathy. In short, it's mobile Kombat 11, and in retrospect, you could see it one full game previous. You see, in anticipation of yet another Homicide Symphony, I actually reinstalled and replayed Mortal Kombat's 9 and 10. The first fucking tops. I gave it a good review at the time, and I stand the fuck by it. It was the same old slice and dice savagery I was accustomed to. Exaggerated physiques for male and fucking female, I might add, gore galore, and goddamn ridiculous kung fu film dialogue and set pieces in story mode. It's a blast, and given the bullshit of the current title, I recommend you revisit it. Mortal Kombat's 10th? Not so fucking much, from the drab lighting to the pseudo-realistic makeover, but in retrospect, we should have been more vigilant to the self-censorship on display. As my nomenclature betrays, I am a Baraka player. Y'all bitches already know this. What you may not know is Melina was my number 2, and well, let's compare the cleavage factor, shall we? Now, story-wise, there's an explanation for the more darksome aesthetic. MKX was the franchise's answer to Street Fighter 3 in a way. A post-apocalyptic postscript intended to feel different from the first 9 titles. But, well, where's the Mortal Kombat? Ed Boon bitched the fuck out in an interview with Playboy on precisely this topic, proffering utterly bizarre backward responses like technology now allowing greater fidelity of fucking fabric rendering, and women in combat should be decked out from top to titty fucking toe cause they're fighting. Guess he didn't ask Sonya Blade's voice actor, Ronda Rousey, how little clothing UFC bitches wear, because they basically wrestle in a sports bra and boy shorts, shit dick! Never mind how little of the male designs have been retouched. I mean, Kano's still shirtless as shit, Jax's cybermetric man boobs flap majestically in the autumn breeze, and in one outfit, Baraka's balls are covered by a Conan fucking loincloth. And for all Ed Boon's bullshitting about a bikini ban, what, my friends, is a loincloth, if not a male butt-fucking bikini? The only thing harder than the game without paid microtransactions is Lance Bass playing it. Point being, what many dismissed as minor tweaks to an aging franchise in 2015's Mortal Kombat 10, retrospect now informs us was in fact a deliberate effort to neuter the politically incorrect proceedings of prior offerings and better fall in with their Warner Brothers bosses. And Boone's interviews betray this fact explicitly. In short, they shot their wad on the initial outings, and every successive entry in the 2010s has been about upping the graphics, shrinking the cup size, and covering every available inch of the women's Nicole Bass-like frames with fucking pilgrim garb or a goddamn nun's habit. And before you fire off your fuckwit cannons, crying as you predictable little piss ants invariably do about how it's the fanboys who are bitching here, when frankly it was the fucking developers who first asked that anyone who has an issue with Jax's bizarre-ass ending should not rightly be called a fan to fucking begin with. This ain't any old franchise, it's Mortal fucking Kombat, Dr. James Dobson's demonic fucking fever dream, the series that stood stalwart against the onset of satanic panic and motherly moral outrage in the 90s, and incidentally gave birth to the ESRB in the process. More to the fucking point, what does it say about our society that I can disembowel a dude and tear the tits off some slag in a fatality, but God forbid I fucking look at him while doing so? Ed Boon, you've become the Puritans you fought against in the 90s, and all it took was for the outraged merchants in question to vote the same way you fucking do. I guarantee if Shao Conservative made the same censorious request the Sarkeesian set have implicitly demanded, to which you've reflexively fucking obliged, you'd swill your own piss to avoid accommodating them, and don't you goddamn deny it. Putting all this aside, I'm giving Mortal Kombat 11 a pass, and not even mostly because of this controversy, for the record. I bought 9 and I had an issue with X-ray attacks and other assorted streamlining, but as my review confirms, I enjoyed it in the overall. But folks, I'm seeing far too much 10 in my Mortal Kombat 11, albeit with a better roster, and 10 didn't do a damn thing for me. You can keep your Mortal Fembot 11. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Hear me, mortals, or I'll condemn you to that shit and puke. You were destined to lounge in.
Let us make Outworld great again.
Leave him alone. He's a great guy. It's enough. It's enough.